All right, everybody. I think we are live. This is my very first webinar, first online class, so I want to make sure that this is working. But before we get into everything, let me introduce myself. So welcome. I'm so excited that there are almost 200 people here right now. I couldn't bring myself to click the start button because I was having so much fun reading through all of your comments. So let me know first if you can hear me, see me. I want to make sure that this is actually working. I had some tech issues yesterday, but I think I got it all figured out. I'm loving the comments. You guys are so awesome. Yeah, so my name is Melissa. If you're not familiar with what I do, who I am, then I run a blog and a website called The Nectar Collective, where I help bloggers and online entrepreneurs stand out, make more money, and improve their presence online. So I'm very, very excited for this webinar today because I'm going to be sharing 6 ways to stand out online and be found by the right people. So first, if you can hear me. Okay, yay, 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 yay. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited you guys can hear me. There's a little bit of a lag, so just so you guys are so sweet. Yay, I'm so excited right now. So there's a little bit of a lag. When I read the comments, I'm reading them like 15 to 30 seconds after I talked, after I already said something. So there's a little bit of a lag. I can't control it, unfortunately. But I just want to let you know so you don't feel like I'm skipping your comments or anything. So I run the Nectar Collective. This is my first webinar, and we are going to have a blast today. Let me see if I can fix the lighting a little bit. All right. Awesome. So cool. All right. So let me know who's here. Where are you guys from? And is this your first time watching a webinar? So this is my first time doing a webinar. I've seen several webinars before. So let me know your name, where you're from, is your first time, or if you've seen other webinars before. If you're seeing a blank YouTube screen, try refreshing the page. I think that will help. Try refreshing the page. I want to make sure you guys are all seeing this, but it seems like most people are. Yay, I'm so excited. Yes, love it. There are 195 people, 196. That's blowing my mind right now. I love it, you guys. Loud and clear, awesome. Yeah, so let me know where you're from, if you've seen a webinar before, or if this is your first one. From Idaho, we got Angelica from Idaho. Yay, or Abby, my name is Abby. We have Jamaica, Europe, Pittsburgh. Yay, first webinar. Yes, Florida, Pennsylvania, UK. Oh my gosh, going so fast I can hardly read. Austin, Texas, I need to go there. Philippines, Spain, Buffalo, New York. So cool, this is such an international chat. I love it. Yeah, refresh the page if you cannot see it. Well, I don't know why I'm saying that, because if you can't see it, you probably can't hear me saying that. But thank you to the people saying that in the comments. I'm reading the comments right now. Russia, that's amazing. Netherlands, Canada. This is so cool, you guys. We have so many people from all around the world. So I'm located in Los Angeles. I want to see if you can meet my dog. A lot of people really like my dog. I have a corgi. His name is Monja. He's kind of international too. I actually got him when I lived in Japan, and I brought him back to Los Angeles with me. So yeah, the chat is moving super fast. If you've ever been on one of my Twitter chats, then you probably know how that can go. Brazil, so cool. Seattle, Antarctica? No. I just looked at the name. He's one of my good friends. He's not from Antarctica, you guys. Florida, Canada, London, Paris. So cool, you guys. All right. So I'm really excited that this is an international chat. I just love having people from all around the world coming together in the name of blogging, entrepreneurship, business. This is going to be so fun. So today we're talking about 6 ways to stand out online and be found by the right people. So it's all about being intentional, right? And making sure that the right people are finding you, not just people who are going to look at your stuff and read one post and then bounce. You want people who are going to read your posts and just devour all of your content. People who are going to love what you do, want to hire you, buy your products, etc. So I said 6 ways, but each way has like 5 tips in it. So really we're looking at like 30 plus ways to stand out online. So there's a lot of information in this webinar. I'm very, very excited to get started. So I am going to actually flip around my screen. I want you to see a presentation that I made. So I'm gonna flip around my screen so that you can see this presentation, and then we'll get started. Yay! And I love the chat too. So one more thing, I probably won't be able to look at the chat while I am presenting. So we're gonna have a full Q&A session at the end of this. So don't worry if I'm not responding to the things in the chat right now. I wanna make sure that I get out all this awesome information while we're all here. And then at the very end, after we present, we're gonna do a Q&A. So I'll look through all your questions, write them down until then, and hopefully you take some notes too while we're doing this presentation. And we'll do a Q&A at the end. So I'm really excited about that too. All right, are you guys ready? Let's get cracking. So I'm gonna flip around my screen and show you this presentation. Okay, and hopefully my dog Monjo will like crawl over from wherever he is. He's probably sleeping somewhere right now. I want you guys to meet him. All right, let's do this. Okay, can you guys see that? I want to make sure it looks big enough. I think that works. Okay. Just setting it up right now. Really want to make sure. So I'm going to check the chat just for a second. Can you guys just let me know if you can see my screen? Just let me know, can you see the screen that I'm sharing with you? I want to make sure that you're actually seeing it before I dive into the presentation, and then nobody can see it and I'm talking for an hour and everyone's like, what the heck? So let me know if you can see my screen, and then I will jump right into all these tips. So you can see I have, what is this, 70 slides. Holy moly, it works. Okay, it works for you. Okay, so we're gonna get cracking. Here we go. So 70 slides, we're gonna go fast paced. I wanna make sure that this doesn't take up your entire Saturday. And thank you, by the way, for being here on a freaking Saturday. That's so cool to me that you're spending your afternoon with me. So thank you so much. All right, let's get started. So 6 ways to stand out online and be found by the right people. By Melissa Griffin of thenectarcollective.com. That's me. That's my website. All right, so you're probably here today for a few reasons. One, you want your work to be seen by more of the right people. So not just anybody, right? Not just people who are going to read one post and then bounce. You want people who are going to love what you create. You want to launch products or services to an audience ready to devour them. You want to grow your brand, but you don't know where to start. And you've seen the success of others that others have had online, and you want a piece of the pie. So there are a lot of ways to be successful in online business or blog, and you've seen, I'm sure, other bloggers or online business owners who've had a lot of success, and you're like, hey, can I do that too? So we're gonna get into some ways that you can accomplish these things today. So today we're gonna cover strategies to help you stand out online, ways to be found by more of the right people. So again, not just anybody, but people who are going to love your blog, your website, your business. And then stay till the end because I've got a special little surprise just for the people that are here. All right, so number one, remember we've got six things we're talking about today. So number one is focus. Focus. So this, I put it as the first one because it is the foundation of your website, your blog, your business, your everything. It is so, so important. Defining your focus is one of the most important things you'll do to grow your online world. I can't stress that enough. So let's get into why. So let me kick you a scenario. Uh-oh, is the screen not showing up? Let's see. Oh no. Okay, so we're gonna come back. Whoops, holy crap. Screen is blank. Okay, can you guys see it now? You can see the screen now? You can hear me but can't see. Okay, so no worries, we're back. Technical difficulties, my friends. So thank you so much for letting me know. So I'm gonna show you my presentation like this because clearly the presentation mode does not work. So we are just gonna be doing, thank you, black screen. Now it's working, okay. Thank you. Yeah, my friend texted me to let me know that it's not working. So thank you, friend Kenny, for letting me know. All right, it's back. So I'm just going to show you the presentation like this. All right, so number one is focus. Defining your focus is one of the most important things you're going to do to grow your online world. Okay, let me kick you a scenario. And I love to share this scenario. I've shared it on my blog. I've shared it on Periscope because it's just so easy to understand why picking a focus is so darn important. So first, let's think. We've got on the left in the pink box, blog or business A, which blogs about all the things. So it's either a blog that shares just anything and everything, or let's say it's like a graphic design studio that designs everything, wedding invitations, websites, logos. They don't have a niche necessarily. So they just design anything and everything. Go Kenny, thank you guys. And then we have blog or business B. So they share healthy, budget-friendly recipes only. So blog or business A, they blog about all the things, whatever they want to blog about that day. Blog or business B, healthy, budget-friendly recipes only. So kind of right now, think, which one are you? Are you blog or business A, where you have a lot of different things you're talking about? Or are you B, where you have one specific topic that you talk about? So let's imagine this. We have a friend, let's call her Veronica. She's a sassy Veronica name. She sees this pin on Pinterest, 5 budget-friendly and healthy dinner recipes. So she sees this pin on Pinterest and she clicks it. So if this pin leads Veronica to blog A, she is going to love the post. Woohoo, so useful. She's gonna browse around the other posts on the blog, but then wait. So if you remember, blog A is the one that has a lot of different topics. So there are posts about the blogger's dog, posts about her recent trip to Seattle, posts about her Etsy store. Veronica doesn't care. They might be awesome posts, but they're just not relevant to Veronica. So peace out, blog A. Now, if this pin takes Veronica to blog B, remember blog B is the blog that only blogs about budget-friendly, healthy recipes. So again, she's gonna love the post. It's an awesome post. And then she's gonna browse around the other posts on the blog, just like what she did with blog A. And then she's gonna be like, oh my goodness, this blog is a gold mine. So if you want some background info on Veronica, she's got 3 kids. She finds it hard to afford healthy foods. So this blog with tons of budget-friendly, healthy recipes is Veronica's new hangout spot. She loves it. Has tons of exactly what she's looking for. She's gonna bookmark it, she's gonna share it with her friends, and she's gonna refer back to it whenever she makes dinner. Boom. So blog B didn't just get a follower. They got a raving fan. So this is really important for you guys to understand. So let's go back to the 2 different types of blogs, or it could be businesses too. So blog A, where we have all the things, we're doing tons of different stuff, or blog B, where you're just sharing one specific topic, catered to one type of person. So blog B didn't get a follower, they got a raving fan. So when you narrow your focus, you're creating content that your ideal audience can devour. So rather than just sifting through a lot of different things that are irrelevant to them, which chances are they're honestly not going to do. So you want to become the go-to hub for a certain topic or niche. So not just blogging about a lot of different things, but you want to be the person for something in particular. It's going to set you apart as a leader and expert in a certain topic. And you're gonna build an audience that trusts you. So they visit your work often and they probably would like to buy from you. So let's say blog B had an ebook or an e-course about how to save money or how to buy organic food for less money. So Veronica is probably gonna look at that blog and be like, oh my gosh, I need to buy this ebook, I need to read this blog, I'm gonna go through their archives and I'm gonna share it with my friends. Because that's what happens when you create a focus. So how do you find your focus? This is nice, right? It's good to know that you need a focus if you want to stand out and you want people to find and devour your stuff. But how do you find your focus? So I've got a super scientific formula for you. Your passion and talent plus how you can help or serve people is your focus. So one more time, your passion and talent plus how you can help or serve people is your focus. So think about what what are you most passionate about? So I actually started my blog as pretty much a lifestyle blog. I blogged about a lot of different things. My dog, living in Japan, living in California, travel, food, everything you can basically think of. I had DIY projects, even though I never do DIY projects in real life. So I blogged about a lot of things, but eventually I really honed it down just to blogging and entrepreneur advice. So that was my passion, that was my talent. And then how can you help or serve people? So what can you create with that passion or talent that's helping somebody? So I used my passion for learning about blogging strategies, business strategies, and I wrote about them in order to help people who wanted to grow their blog or business. So think about that for yours too, because the combination, the intersection of those two things is your focus. Again, super scientific formula. And don't feel bad if you don't feel like you have a strong focus right now. You're here, that's the only thing that matters. So you care about finding your focus, you care about standing out, and you're here because you want to improve your blog or your business. So don't feel bad if you don't have a strong focus right now. But I hope, and I hope you're taking notes, I hope that you will leave this webinar, if you leave it with one thing, it's to really find a strong focus. So let me say it again, your focus is so important, it's going to set you apart. Having a strong focus and a clear audience will make your work more memorable, more shareable, and more profitable. So here's just a little snippet of a comment that somebody left on my blog. So I wrote a blog post about how to find your focus on thenectarcollective.com. And yeah, I'm seeing the comments too. I'll get to some of those later. So I wrote a post about finding your focus on the Nectar Collective, and Allison from wonderlast.com, she's awesome, she left this comment and I really wanted to share it with you guys. So let me read it. Oh man, I could not identify with this blog post more. I've had my blog for 5 years with very little growth due to a muddied focus. So maybe you kind of can relate to her if you feel that way too. Then back in March of this year, I decided to really hone in on its focus and purpose, and it has grown like quite literally 1000% in the past few months. Wonderful tips as always. So this is just so important to me, and I've experienced the same exact thing, you all, that when I narrowed my focus from being a lifestyle blog about all the things kind of blog, my blog grew so much. And that's why there's so many people here watching this right now, is because you know that you can come to my blog for specific advice, specific takeaways on certain topics. So your homework, figure out where your biggest passion and talent intersects with how you can help your audience. Get specific about what you offer. And then answer this. What do I want to be the go-to hub for? So if you blog about a ton of different things, then it's hard to be the go-to hub for anything. But you want to be like the headquarters for something in particular. So what are you going to be the go-to hub for? What are you going to be known for? All right, so number 1 was focus. Number 2 of how to stand out online. Create content that wows. So let's get into what kind of content will wow people. So we talked about focus. Your focus is a big part of how you attract new visitors. Your content is why they stay. So if we went to that blog post right here, if Veronica clicked through and this blog post was crappy or not very useful, then it doesn't matter what the focus was. It doesn't matter if all of the posts are like this, because if she can't connect with this post and she doesn't find valuable content, then who cares? She's not going to stay. So your focus is very important, but your content is why they stay. So step 1, get a blog, duh. Hopefully you guys already have a blog if you're here. This is more geared towards business owners who might be here that don't have a blog. But it is so important to have a blog if you're trying to build an online business. It's just a way to connect with your audience, to create content that shows that you're an expert or knowledgeable in a certain field. And it's also good for SEO, search engine optimization, which we're going to get into later. Step 2, make every single post share-worthy. And I don't mean to say this to be funny or to be mean, but I need to say it. If it's not worth sharing, then why are you writing it? So that's a very literal question. And I want you to ask yourself this question when you're creating your posts. If it's not worth somebody clicking your post and then thinking, oh my gosh, I have to share this on Twitter, or have to share this with my other friends who like this kind of stuff. If they're not doing that, then why are you writing it? What's the takeaway? So if it's not worth sharing, why are you writing it? So high quality and share-worthy content, what is it? So first of all, creating in-depth and lengthy posts. So thinking more along the lines of the complete guide to X, whatever it may be. So rather than just writing a few tips, like 300, 500 word posts, creating posts that are 1,000 words. And you might feel like, oh my gosh, this is going to take me forever. How am I going to write all these posts? But when you create posts that are so awesome, so filled with information, not only are you going to stand out more as both an expert, knowledgeable in your field, but you don't need to write as many posts because people are going to devour your posts and take longer to read them. And it doesn't matter if you write every day, even if you write once a week. If you create in-depth, lengthy, complete guide to something posts, then it doesn't matter if you don't write as much. So what else can you do to create high quality share-worthy content? Add screenshots or video or audio or research to support your post. So creating like a YouTube video or an audio version of your post, or if you're doing a tutorial, then doing like a screencast or screenshots. So, and sharing examples of whatever you're trying to share with people. Don't be afraid to do what others aren't. So if you have ideas but you don't see other people in your niche doing them, that's okay. That's probably a good thing. You want to try to do things that other people aren't, because if you only do what other people are doing, then you can only reach the same level of success that they are. And even if they are somebody who's successful, you want to reach your own type of success. So don't be afraid to do what others aren't. Creating share-worthy content is also about adding beautiful on-brand graphics so that it's easy to share. So you want to create graphics where people can share it on Pinterest, on Facebook, on Twitter. Creating evergreen content. So if you're not familiar with the term evergreen, evergreen means it's content that is timeless. So somebody could read it 2 years from now and it's still just as useful. So it's not like content where it only is good for the next month or so, but creating timeless evergreen content. And then adding content upgrades to your post. So let me show you an example of what a content upgrade is and how this will create higher quality and share-worthy content. So this is an example of the bottom of one of my blog posts. This is like a screenshot of the post, and this is at the very bottom. So you can see this button. It says, want to grow your blog for free? And then they can click it and get access to a library of free ebooks and worksheets on the topic that they just read about. So content upgrades are a way to upgrade your posts. I mean, it sounds so simple, but it's very obvious. So it's a way to upgrade your posts. And you can get subscribers this way too by sharing your free upgrade in exchange for their email address. So it's a great way to grow your email list, your newsletter, and you can add these to all of your posts to make them even more share-worthy, even more high quality. So content upgrades, they're a chance to up-level your content. So you're not just writing a blog post. Now you're creating something to go along with the blog post, like a worksheet, a checklist, a free ebook. They're a fantastic way to increase your number of mailing list subscribers. And they're a way to create share-worthy, oh my God, I need this content. So how do you think of content that your audience will love? Start by listening, because they're going to tell you. So listen to the questions your audience asks in emails or blog comments. Listen to the questions they're asking in Facebook groups or on Twitter, or the questions you see online, or the questions you see thrown around at in-person events, or even, for example, questions that you see in the chat box of this webinar. So it doesn't have to be that people are like asking you the questions directly. That's why it's so important to listen. Start by listening. So listen to what your audience is asking, even if they're not asking you. And then you can create a list of all these questions so that you're directly answering what people need in your blog posts. So then create an epic blog post that answers their question. So a few frequently asked questions about high quality content. First of all, do I have time for this? I mean, it sounds like a lot of work, 1,000-word post, screenshots, video, even maybe a content upgrade. So yes, you do have time for it. Depending on how many times per week you're blogging, just post less. Even if you post once a week and it's an awesome high quality content post, then it doesn't matter. It's gonna be even better than blogging 5 times a week with 5 crappy posts. And I don't mean that to be harsh. I just wanna be honest with you. So you don't need to post every day if your content's awesome. Another question, my audience is small. Should I waste my best content when no one's reading? So actually your oldest posts are gonna eventually become your most read posts due to search engine optimization. So SEO kind of works, it takes a little while to work. It's not like you implement SEO strategies and all of a sudden you're at the top of the search engine. It takes months to actually climb in the rankings of SEO. So the sooner you write your most awesome posts, the sooner they're gonna be at the top of a search engine. So you also need high quality posts to attract more readers. It's like a catch-22. If you wait to write awesome posts until you have a readership, then you're gonna be waiting for a whole long time. So remember this, it is so, so important to create high quality content, but even the best content is going to fall flat if it's not geared towards the right audience. So again, narrow that focus, yo. All right, so tip number 3. Is your brand consistent or confusing? So branding is huge for being able to stand out online. So is it consistent or confusing? A strong brand is gonna help you stand out because it breeds consistency. People are gonna recognize you and your work if you have a strong, consistent brand. And this works everywhere, not just on your blog, but on social media, on your email list, if you're guest posting on other people's blogs. If you have a strong, consistent brand with strong aesthetics, strong voice, etc., then people are gonna start to recognize you and your work. So in order to create a consistent brand, you need to know who you're creating it for. So don't think of your audience as an audience. I don't think that that's the right way to go, where you're thinking of, everyone says your audience, your ideal audience, your target market. When you think of it that way, you're just thinking of like a blob. You don't want to think of your audience as this big blob of people, because that makes it really hard to create posts that are going to really resonate with them. So instead, think of your audience as one person. And even better if you know someone who's representative of your ideal audience, because then you can create everything for that person. So for example, like if you're creating something, then you can just think in your head, is this going to be something that that one person that I know, who's my audience, are they gonna like this or no? It's much easier to answer those questions for yourself if you know one person that you're targeting rather than this big blob of an audience. So think of one person, make that person your audience. Now, a few questions to guide your branding. So first, if you're thinking of this one person, this one audience member, what does that one person's Instagram feed look like? So what kind of pictures do they post? Let that guide your visual style. So let that guide the types of images that you post on your blog, the types of things that you pin on Pinterest, things that you share on Instagram. So again, it's so important to create a consistent brand for your audience. So this is not about, if you really want to grow your blog or your business, I have to be harsh for a second, this is not about you. This is about your audience. So how are you creating things that resonate with your audience rather than things that resonate with you? So let that guide your visual style, their Instagram feed. So think about that one person's Instagram feed. And if you know somebody who's that one person in your audience, look at their Instagram feed. See what kinds of things they post. Second, what are they Googling? What kinds of things do they want to know? This goes back also to listening. Listen to what they are asking. So let that guide your content. And 3, this is just another example. What kind of movies do they love? So if you had to ask them, what's your favorite or top 3 favorite movies, what would they say? And let that guide your writing style. So do they like lighthearted, funny movies? Do they like sappy, romantic movies that are going to make them feel happy and warm? Do they like dramatic movies that maybe they want something more, I don't know, crazy? But think about the types of movies they love And let that guide your writing style, because that can say a lot about somebody's personality and what types of things they're going to want to read. Now, your brand is consistent if you stick to 3 to 5 complementary colors that you use on everything. So not necessarily all at once. We definitely don't want to do like a big blob of colors on every single thing you create. But 3 to 5 complementary colors that you use on everything you create. Second, you want to stick to 2 to 3 fonts only and always. Only and always. And third, you have a particular vibe. So not only do you know who you are, but you know who you're not. So you know what kinds of things you would say, you know what kinds of things you wouldn't say, you know what types of captions you would write on your Instagram photos, what types of things you would post on your blog. So this is all about being consistent. And I know it can be hard to stick to these because you see something pretty, it's like shiny object syndrome. I had that definitely my first year of blogging. I changed my blog design like every month. But that does not work if you're trying to build a brand and really stand out online. So remember, this is not about you, this is about what you're building. So your brand is confusing if you use whatever colors or fonts you feel like that week. So you see a pretty font, a new color you want to try, and you just start using it everywhere. Or you change your website's design or branding every month. So like I said, that's what I did when I started, and I wasn't building a consistent brand. So if this is a problem for you, then hire somebody to create your brand for you. This is an investment you would need to save for, but hire somebody that can create your brand for you, because you're much less likely to constantly renovate your branding if someone else created it for you and you paid for it. Your brand is confusing if you don't have a particular voice. So a lot of people kind of are worried, like, how do I find my voice? What is my voice? But honestly, finding your voice just means that you found the confidence to write as yourself. That's it. It's not like you need to find this funny voice or you need to find this soothing, calm voice. It's not about copying somebody else's voice, and it's not about trying to discover this voice. It's just about finding the confidence to write in your own voice. So do this, write this down, create a style guide. And actually, if you go to my website, thenectarcollective.com, and you search style guide, I have a post all about how to create a style guide. And it comes with some worksheets too. So create a style guide. A style guide is where you literally write down your fonts, your colors, any patterns or graphics you use, your image templates for your posts, such as posts you put on Pinterest, so that you have in written form exactly what your brand aesthetically and verbally consists of. So if you have that written down, it's so much easier to stay consistent than if you're just like flying by the seat of your pants and you guess every single time you create something. It'll help you identify what your brand is and isn't about and exactly who you're serving. So remember, your focus is your talent and your passion, plus who you're serving, how you're helping that person. Do this also. Create templates for your graphics. So this on the left is a screenshot of a folder I have on my computer with a bunch of different templates. So I use these templates. It's really easy. All you need to do is add new text and a photo every time you go to create a new graphic for your post. So you're not spending 45 minutes creating a graphic for your post. You just plug in a photo, change the text to update it with a new blog post title, and you're done. Super easy, super fast, and very consistent branding. So according to a case study by Pinterest, graphics with text do 150 times better than graphics with no text. So as you can see in my templates, pretty much all of my graphics, literally all of my graphics have text. So these do much better on Pinterest. It doesn't matter what niche you're in, you can always be able to, you can always be able to, oh my gosh, you can always add text to your graphics, at least one graphic, so that when people pin it on Pinterest, you're standing out, you're getting noticed. And also update old off-brand posts with new on-brand graphics and then pin them. And I'm going to get into that strategy a little bit more later on. But do this, create templates for your graphics. You can do this in Canva, canva.com, picmonkey.com, Photoshop. I use Photoshop, but there are plenty of free and easy to use options too. Do this, create branded stock images. So here we have some images from an awesome website, ellandcompanydesign.com. She created branded stock images. So instead of just buying stock images or using the stock images that everybody else on the internet is using, which doesn't create a very standout brand, she hired somebody to take these photos for her to create branded stock images. So these are photos from her office. So create your own stock images. So set aside a few hours one day. You can do this yourself. You don't need to hire somebody. Take 50 photos that capture your vibe. So she has a very clean, bright aesthetic. But depending on what your vibe is, mine is pretty colorful. I like big, bold fonts. But yours might be something totally different. So I'm not saying that you should copy her method or my method. I'm really just saying that you should channel your own vibe and then take branded stock images that you can use on everything to make it really obvious what your brand is about, and make it really obvious, for example, on Pinterest, what your images are. So every time I see an image on Pinterest that looks like this, I immediately know that it comes from her site. So make sure your images have consistent vibe, and it's a great way to stand out and be different because you're not using the same images that everybody else is using. And if you create all of these images at once with the intention of good branding, consistent branding, then you're going to have standout images that create a very consistent brand. And now lastly, think of every page as a landing page. So not everyone is going to land straight on your website. Some people will find you on Instagram. Some people will discover you on Pinterest. So is your branding consistent? If it is consistent, you're going to stand out and be more memorable. And you'll be confusing if somebody clicks over from your Pinterest and notices that the graphic doesn't match your blog design at all. So that's why it's so important to create a consistent brand, because you want people to jump over to your blog and think, wow, this is like amazing. How do they do this? How do they make such a consistent brand? And then they're going to jump over to your Instagram or your Facebook and see that everything is consistent and cohesive. It's really going to make you stand out because so few people actually do this. Now, your social media presence. Next topic. So why social media? Why do we care? If we're trying to build a blog or a business, why is social media important? Well, first, because social media develops trust and intimacy with your readers. It humanizes your brand. So it's a way to get relatable and be useful. So relatable and useful equals you're going to stand out. It also allows you to meet your target audience where they are. So maybe not everybody reads blogs, or maybe not everybody wants to go to your business's website if they have no idea who you are. So instead of being found, remember part of this webinar is about how to be found. Instead of being found, you can do the finding too. So let your brand's value flow into social media. Remember again that every page is a potential landing page, especially on social media. So don't be afraid to do what others aren't. Share relevant info for your audience. And again, what are you the go-to hub for? So on the left, I have a little graphic that I share on Instagram. So I just recently started sharing these graphics. And what they are is just a little graphic with a tip or title for a tip. And then I share pretty long text below. The text you see there is just a very brief snippet, but it's almost as long as an actual blog post. So I share this on my Instagram. And at first I was like, oh, is this gonna clutter my Instagram feed? Is this gonna look weird? I never see people sharing things like this on Instagram, but my brand is all about helping bloggers and business owners, so I guess I'll just share it. And I did. And now I have this series called #TNCTip, where I share tips for bloggers or business owners on Instagram. And they are now my most popular posts. So this one has 231 likes and 57 comments. So these are very popular and very engaging posts on Instagram. So again, don't be afraid to do what others aren't. I had not seen other people doing something like this, so I thought, is this gonna go over well on Instagram? Are people actually gonna like this? But they really do. So don't be afraid if you don't see other people doing what you want to do. Now create a standout profile on social media. This is gonna help you stand out too. So think, how do you add value? So instead of just writing in your profile on social media, I write a travel blog and I have a corgi or something like that. That's just a hypothetical example. But don't go so literal with your profile, because again, any page is a landing page. So how do you add value? Write that in your profile. So not just you have a travel blog or you have a food blog. I mean, how many people out there have a travel blog or a food blog? Ask yourself, how do you add value, and then write it in your profile. So what will someone gain by following you? Maybe you have a food blog, but instead of writing, I have a food blog and I live in Los Angeles, write something like, I create healthy, gorgeously photographed recipes for people that want budget-friendly ideas for dinner. That sounds so much more enticing than I write a food blog and I live in LA. So think about how you can create a standout profile by adding value and letting people know what they're going to gain by following you. And then when possible, so pretty much every social media profile allows you to add a link. So instead of just adding a link to your blog or business's homepage, add a link to somewhere where they can get something for free by subscribing. Or even just like something where they're getting something very high value by clicking that link. So in my Instagram, I usually have a link that leads people to my newsletter subscription form, and I let them know that if they subscribe, they're going to get access to my free library of ebooks and worksheets for bloggers and business owners. So instead of just saying, here's a link to my blog, go visit it, I give them some reason to actually check me out. So it's going to make you stand out too, because if you're telling them how you add value and what you're giving them, then you're definitely going to stand out more than if you just tell them, I write a food blog or something. Also, standing out on social media means joining communities. So every single social media platform has a community. So Twitter chats. I host a Twitter chat, but there's tons of Twitter chats you can find if you just Google them. You can Google like Twitter chats and then whoever you are, like Twitter chats for bloggers, Twitter chats for Etsy store owners, Twitter chats for entrepreneurs, whatever it may be, and you're going to find tons of posts with examples of Twitter chats you can join. Same thing with Facebook groups. So Facebook pages are kind of dying out, as many of you know, but Facebook groups are having a huge moment right now, you guys. So Facebook groups are an awesome way to connect with people who are interested in the same things as you, who have other expertise in the same field as you. So it's just a great way to connect, make friends, and help yourself stand out. So I know people who get tons of clients just by being active in Facebook groups, or tons of subscribers just by being active in Facebook groups. Because if you're active, people are going to get curious about you. They're going to click over to your profile and then discover your blog, which sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but it actually honestly works. Pinterest group boards. So again, a community on social media. Group boards are a fantastic way to get your content in front of more people. So if you have 200 followers on Pinterest and you join a Pinterest group board that has 2,000 followers, then every time you pin something to that 2,000 follower board, your pins are being seen by 2,000 people versus your 200. So it's pretty incredible how those work, but Pinterest group boards are awesome. Instagram hashtags. So if you follow a blog or like a website or a business, a lot of them will have a hashtag that they tell their readers or their customers, whatever it may be, to use this hashtag. And if that business or that blog is very relevant to your brand, so for example, I have a hashtag TNC Hustler. So if you're a blogger or a business owner and you search TNC Hustler on Instagram, the hashtag, then you're going to find tons of other people who are probably bloggers or business owners, just like you. And there's a lot of other hashtags out there that accomplish the same thing. But again, this is just about finding your community and interacting with your community, because you're going to stand out if you build relationships with people who are in the same boat as you. And remember, it's all about being active where your audience hangs out. And also using analytics to figure out what your audience loves. So you don't have to guess what they like. And even you don't even have to listen. I told you earlier, you should listen so that you can create content that they love. I still think that's an awesome strategy, but you don't even have to do that. You have analytics on social media to tell you what your audience is interacting with and enjoying the most. So each social media platform has analytics. There's Pinterest analytics. You have to have a free business account to access them, but it exists, and it's very easy to get. Twitter has analytics. Instagram doesn't on its own platform, but you can go to a free website called Iconosquare, and they have analytics for Instagram. And Facebook has Facebook Insights for your page. So every single social media, all the big ones have analytics, and you can research these, poke around through them, see which types of posts are getting the most likes, the most comments, the most engagement, the most retweets, favorites, and then create more content around those topics so that you're always making sure that you are creating content that is relevant to your audience. And again, creating high quality content. So imagine if you create a post that your audience totally needs and you totally knock it out of the park. You add tons of high quality information, you create a lengthy, complete guide to something post that's really gonna make your audience happy and make them wanna keep coming back to you. So next, SEO is everything. So search engine optimization is so, so important. So what is it? Search engine optimization is how your work is found by search engines. So if you type something into Google or any search engine, then search engine optimization is at work. That's how the top posts rank at the top. So when most people think of search engines, they only think of Google, but I want you to remember that there are two other important search engines, Pinterest and YouTube. These are huge, huge search engines. So people go to Google for certain types of posts, people go to Pinterest for other types of content, and people go to YouTube when they want to specifically find video versions of something. Okay. So just to give you an example, 52% of my visitors come from search engines, Pinterest and Google. 52%. So search engine optimization is huge. Huge, huge, huge. So number one, figure out which keywords you want to be found for. So keyword is basically just a word or phrase that you want your blog or website to be found for on a search engine. So if somebody types in that word or phrase, usually a phrase is better. If someone types in that word or phrase on Google or on Pinterest or on YouTube, then you want them to find your site, not somebody else's site. You want them to find your site. So it's all about standing out for specific relevant keywords. And this is important to think about, figuring out which keywords you want to be known for, found for, because otherwise you're not being intentional when you create your posts. So you really want to create blog posts and content that's very intentional for the audience that you are trying to reach. So get specific. Think of keywords that are extremely relevant to your brand. So for example, like I write about blogging and business tips. So some of my keywords might be like how to start a blog or best blogging tips for beginners, something like that. So I wouldn't recommend necessarily one particular word. I would recommend more of a phrase, because one word is going to be really hard to stand out because there's so many people competing for that word. But if you focus on a phrase, then that's going to help your blog rank more highly for that particular phrase. Or if you run a business, for example, like you run a catering business. So trying to rank for a keyword like catering business in Los Angeles. So not just catering business, but being more specific about it. You could even be more specific than that and be like wedding catering business in Los Angeles, or Indian food catering business in Los Angeles. So really getting specific about your keywords and then infusing them into your content. So let's get into how to do that. So utilizing your keywords. So again, make a list of 10 or so relevant to you keywords that you want to be found for. So thinking about, what do you want someone to type into Google and consistently find your blog? So infuse them organically, so don't just like plop them randomly into your posts, but put them organically, create content around them, and put them into your title of your blog posts, the text in your blog post, so the actual content of your posts, your meta description, so the little description that pops up on a Google search engine when somebody Googles something, so underneath that post title, your H1, H2, etc. headings in your content of your blog post, the link or URL of your blog post, and your image file names. So this is a lot of places, but if you do this well, and if you're writing about one focused topic, it's very, very easy to constantly incorporate the keywords that you want to be found for. So again, 52% of my visitors come from search engines. So I don't want you to take this tip and be like, I don't know what SEO is, or I don't know what keywords are, so I'm just gonna chuck that tip, because it's so important. This is so important to work into your posts, and it's very easy to do. So if you want half of your traffic, you want to double your traffic, then take note of SEO. So keywords that are relevant to your brand, and then infusing them into your posts. Now, number 2, add keyword-rich and relevant descriptions on Pinterest. So again, Pinterest is a search engine. So your boards and pins cannot be found unless you add keywords into your descriptions. So you're missing out on 75 million users if you're not adding keywords into your descriptions or your board descriptions on Pinterest. So Pinterest boards, get this, they actually pop up now in Google search results. So that's a major, major opportunity for your work to be found and to stand out online. But you have to add descriptions to your Pinterest boards for this to happen. So Google is very smart, but they're not smart enough to know what your pins are about if you don't actually tell them. So that's why it's very important to add a description with the keywords you want to be found for. So just think, it doesn't have to be super scientific or super difficult. Just think, what are people Googling? What are people typing into Pinterest to find this post? So what kind of words could I type in to target those people or what they're typing in? And then make sure that your keywords or descriptions, again, are relevant to your audience so that you attract the right people. So I highly, highly recommend after this, creating a list of the keywords that you want to be known for, and then using them in your descriptions, in your blog posts, so that you are constantly found for that particular topic. Now, number 3, this is a huge SEO strategy, is to get backlinks. So what a backlink is when somebody on another website or social media links to your blog post or website from their site. So if you're creating share-worthy, high-quality content, people are going to share your post on social media and their blog. So automatic backlinks. Okay, so easy. So it doesn't have to be where you're hoping, you're praying that somebody's going to share your stuff, because if you're creating high-quality, again, share-worthy content, the complete guide to X, then people are going to naturally just share your content on their blog posts and their social media. So until that happens, while you're trying to strategize, trying to get your stuff out there, you can actually seek out bigger sites in your niche that you can guest post for. So I say in your niche because I really want you to target your audience, your focus, and a relevant audience rather than just targeting everybody. You're going to get more out of it, more visitors turning into subscribers or clients if you're targeting bigger sites in your niche. So try to guest post for them. Pitch them an idea of how you can guest post for them, and it should be very relevant to their content so that they actually accept you. But seek out bigger sites in your niche, ask them if you can guest post for them, and then that will give you a good backlink back to your site, which is going to boost your SEO and get your site out in front of more people in your niche. Or here's another idea. If there are bloggers who do post roundups, send them one of your awesome share-worthy posts to be included in their roundup. So if they do like Friday favorites, where they link to a bunch of different blog posts, send them one of your most awesome high-quality posts that you wrote to be included in their roundup. Just be like, hey, I noticed you do this roundup every week. I wrote this post that I think would be really fitting, and I put a lot of time into it. So I just wanted to send it to you in case you want to use it in your roundup. Chances are, if you wrote, again, a high-quality, share-worthy post, they're going to be like, holy crap, this is awesome. I'm going to put this in my post, because not only am I sharing awesome content, but it makes me look even better as a blogger that I found this really awesome post. My readers are going to love it. And you're going to get a backlink. So backlinks, let's just put it this way, are currency in the SEO world. So the more you are linked to from high-quality sites, the more search engines assume your site is valuable and will rank you highly in search results. And number 4 for SEO is create YouTube videos for your posts. So create a video about or for your blog post. It could be like a tutorial, or if you have like a post where you're saying 5 ways to do something, you could literally just create a YouTube video where you're saying the 5 ways and then embed it into your blog post. Because some people like to read your blog post, some people are going to like to watch it or listen to it. So just giving them options. So do that and then link back to the post in the YouTube video description. So not only does this create even higher quality content where you're integrating a YouTube video into your post to give people different options about how they can engage with your content, but it also creates a backlink between your blog and YouTube. So YouTube is one of the biggest search engines, again, one of the top 3 biggest search engines in the world. So if somebody's searching for something on YouTube and they find your video and they see in the description, oh, there's a link to a blog post here, then they might click it and go over to your blog. So again, this is a way to stand out using SEO and creating high quality content. Now, lastly, up your Pinterest game. So you guys, Pinterest is so important for creating a standout website. It is the best marketing tool. So Pinterest is my highest form of referral traffic. So I'm pretty active on all social media, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram. I'm pretty active on all of them. But Pinterest is like leaps and bounds ahead of all of the other social media in terms of referral traffic. It's just not comparable to anything else out there. It brings thousands of the right visitors to my site every day. So because I practice good SEO strategies, both on my Pinterest boards, my descriptions on Pinterest, and just my keywords that I'm using on my blog posts, it brings the right visitors to my site every day. So again, I'm saying that because it's important to target certain people, certain keywords, rather than just creating posts and hoping that random people are going to find it. So it brings thousands of right visitors to my site every day. These are visitors who subscribe to my newsletter, subscribe to my social media, and eventually buy my products and hire me. So Pinterest is like crazy awesome, you guys. I just can't tell you enough. Bottom line, Pinterest is incredibly helpful for anyone who wants to stand out and get their work noticed, which I'm thinking is everyone here, because that's the name of this webinar today. All right, so a few tips on Pinterest. So we talked about branding already, but creating on-brand consistent pins. So this on the right is an example of a feed from my friend byregina.com's website, and she creates these really awesome graphics that look very similar. So she has big bold text and someone's face on the right, and all of her graphics have the same kind of look. So when I don't even know how I found her blog to start out with, but when I would see these posts on Pinterest before I really knew who she was, it got me curious, because I would think like, oh, I've seen this post before. I've seen something that looks like this. So if you do that enough, if you're creating content with the same kind of look, the same brand, it's very consistent, then people are going to take notice, and eventually they're going to get curious, and they're going to click over to your site, and then hopefully love your stuff, because again, you're creating high quality, share-worthy content. Now, tip number 2 is to revamp and repin your old posts. So I did mention this earlier, but I want to say it again and explain it a little bit more how to do it. So if you look on the left, we have 2 graphics. These both lead to the same post. The one on the left is the first graphic I made for the post, which is honestly, now that I look at it, is pretty ugly. How to earn money blogging. It's like, looks very basic, very noob-ish. It's just not that great of a graphic, in my opinion. But then it didn't match my branding at the time. I just threw it together. I didn't have like a blog design that looked like that. I was just like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna do this for the design for this thing. But then when I revised my branding, changed my website design, I wanted to go back and revamp some of my old graphics. So I created the new graphic that's on the right, How to Earn Money as a Blogger. It leads to the exact same post. I did add underneath the comprehensive guide because I want to entice people a little bit more. It is very comprehensive. But again, this is very similar to my branding. So all of my posts that I share on my blog and on Pinterest follow the same style as the pin or the graphic on the right. So again, it's just so important because you want people to start to recognize your branding. And if they do that, they're going to get curious. You're going to stand out like Regina does, and people are going to click over to your site. So next, add keyword-rich descriptions to images in the alt text before inserting the image into your post. So this I know works on WordPress. I'm not sure about other sites. I do think it does work on Squarespace and Blogspot. But the reason I say this, so we want to add keyword-rich descriptions to all of our images. But let's say somebody comes to your site and then clicks the Pin It button, and then the description that pops up is like the post title, or it's just like your image name, like blog-post-image.jpg. That's the description for your Pinterest image. Or you're leaving it up to chance that they're going to write a description for you, which is very unlikely. So if you want to add a description to all of your pins without having to rely on other people to do it for you, you can add the description in the alt text. So you can see on the right over here, so this is my WordPress media view, insert media. If you have WordPress, you're very familiar with this. But on the right, you can see the alt text. So you can add a description into this text and fill it with useful, enticing information and keywords that people are going to be searching for. So I usually write the blog post title, followed by 2 to 3 sentences about what they're going to get out of the post, making sure to also use keywords that are going to attract the right people who would like this post. So for example, if it's a post about growing your online business, then I might use words like creative entrepreneur, or online business, or business owner, or small business owner in my description, so that if somebody is typing those keywords, then they're finding my post. So I put that in the alt text, and then I insert the image into my post. And now every time somebody, no matter who they are, if they try to pin my post, then the description is always attached to it. So again, this is good SEO practice and a good way to get found on Pinterest. And now pay attention to the smart feed. And we're almost finished, you guys, so hang in there. I know it's a lot of information. And then we're going to do a Q&A right after this. So pay attention to the smart feed. Pinterest has a smart feed which displays pins as best first, not newest first. So you might be familiar with the old way that Pinterest was working, where it was the newest pins would be published first. But Pinterest actually has a smart feed now. They introduced it about a year ago. It now displays pins as best first. So even if you pin 30 things at once, that used to be a problem where you needed to space it out because you didn't want to spam your feed or your followers. But now that they have a smart feed, not all of your pins are being shown at the same time. So if Pinterest doesn't think you share quality pins, then your pins may not be seen for a few days or ever. So it's so, so important to utilize the smart feed and share quality pins. So best pins, what are they? They are pins that get repinned. So if you look through your Pinterest boards and you find tons and tons of pins that have 0 repins, then Pinterest smart feed is basically assuming that people are not liking the things that you share, which might not be true. I went through my old pins and I started my Pinterest over 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and I found tons of pins that had 0 repins because I pinned them like 3 years ago when I had 13 followers and didn't know what I should be pinning. Now I only pin things that are relevant to bloggers or business owners, and my pins generally get more than 0 repins. But when I went back, I found that a lot of my old stuff had no repins. So Pinterest was ranking me lower because I still had all that content that wasn't getting repins. So best pins also have descriptions. So like I said, they have keyword-rich descriptions, which are going to get your pins found by more people and therefore repinned by more people. Descriptions also help people to click through to your website, so you can even include like a call to action in your description. So everywhere on the internet, people need kind of a nudge to do something. If you write in your description, click through to read more about whatever tips are in this pin, this graphic, then it's a lot more likely that people will actually click through and read it rather than just looking at it. So best pins also come from consistent users, which means that you have to pin a lot. So this kind of sounds like a lot of work. I recently did a Twitter chat about Pinterest, and I told people that they should be pinning 50 to 100 times a day. 50 to 100 pins a day, not necessarily all your work, other people's work too, of course, but 50 to 100 pins a day if you really want to utilize the smart feed. So I know that sounds crazy and that sounds like it's going to take forever, but I honestly do that in about 45 minutes a week. So I actually have an e-course linked below called Pinfinite Growth, which is all about how to utilize Pinterest and leverage it to grow your blog and your business. And I share how I'm able to pin 100 pins a day in 45 minutes a week. So we'll get into that later, but I just want to clear that up, that it's very possible to pin often and a lot without having it take up all of your time. So I know a lot of you have full-time jobs, a lot of you are busy. It does not have to take up hours a day. And lastly, best pins lead to relevant links. So also go through your Pinterest boards and see if you have any pins that are leading to broken links or totally irrelevant websites, like websites that don't match the pin at all. Pinterest is paying attention to that. And if it sees that you pin a lot of stuff that leads to irrelevant links, it's going to rank your profile lower. So if you do all of these things that constitute best pins or best pinners, then your stuff is going to get viewed more in Pinterest Smart Feed. You're going to get more traction. All right, so we went over 6 ways to stand out online, which was really more like 50 ways when we went through all the different tips under each of the 6 ways. And now I just want to share with you something that I recently came out with that is perfect for bloggers or business owners who want to stand out online. It's called Pinfinite Growth, and it's an e-course. So this is not just a course about Pinterest. I want to clear that up right away. This is not a course about how to grow your Pinterest following or anything like that. We definitely go into Pinterest strategies, but this is a course about leveraging Pinterest to get way, way, way more eyes on your work and visitors. Way more people viewing your site, following your site. So that is what the course is about. It's not about how to get more Pinterest followers, though that is probably an outcome. It's definitely been an outcome how I have used the strategies in this course. Let me share a little bit about that. So Pinfinite Growth shows my step-by-step system for how Pinterest transformed my blog. You guys, it transformed it. Let me show you. So you're gonna learn how to narrow your focus and find your specific audience. So we went over how to narrow your focus a little bit earlier and why it's so, so important. So in this course, you're going to learn specifically how to do that, how to find your audience. And thank you to Kara for saying she loves the name Pinfinite Growth. Thank you, guys. So you're also going to learn how to create content that is relevant to your audience. So remember Blog B from the example way in the beginning of this class. Creating content that is relevant to your audience, that they're going to read and devour. How to create a consistent brand. So we went over that a little bit today too. But we're going to go more in depth about that. How to create a consistent brand where people see it on Pinterest, where they see it and they click through to your blog and they think, wow, this is awesome. This is my new favorite place. You're also going to learn how to use Pinterest strategically to bring way more of the right people to your site. So we're not just using Pinterest again to grow our Pinterest following. Pinterest is a marketing tool. It is a marketing tool that is perfect for bloggers and business owners, and it pains me to see so many people using it casually or just incorrectly. So I asked my audience, I actually sent them an email, my whole newsletter list of thousands of people, sent them an email and I said, what would you like to learn about how to stand out or build like an income or business online? And I expected that everyone would say that they wanted to earn money online, but actually so many people said that they just didn't know how to get people to their site. So how to get people engaged with what they're creating, how to get people to actually click over to their site and enjoy what they're putting out there. So I created this course because I wanted something out there in the world that helped people figure out how to bring those right people to their site. So in the course, you're going to get 8 modules of content, video tutorials, written PDFs, worksheets. There's also an exclusive Facebook group only for Pinfinite Growth students. So this group is an awesome way, kind of like the chat actually in this webinar, but it's a great way to ask questions from people who are also bloggers or business owners who really want to grow their following, grow their income, and get more of the right people on their site. So it's a strategic mastermind group only for course students. You're also going to get 2 live Q&As with me. So I actually don't take one-on-one clients anymore. But when I did, the last one-on-one client I took, I charged $399 for a consultation. So you're going to get 2 of those. So it's like an $800 value. 2 live Q&As with me during the course where you can ask me any questions particular to you. How to grow your blog, your following, your Pinterest. You're also going to get a free 30-day membership to my favorite Pinterest scheduler. So I've been working with the founder of my favorite Pinterest scheduler, this program that helps me basically publish 100 pins per day in 45 minutes a week. So he's going to give you a free 1-month membership to this scheduler, and it's a $30 value. You're going to get it for free. And you're also going to get image templates that I create. I'm actually a designer by trade, so you're going to get image templates that I created for you so that you can create awesome Pinterest graphics even if you're not a designer. So again, I showed you earlier how I create all those templates for my blog posts. So you're going to get some templates of your own, and all you have to do is change the colors, the font, or not the font, but change the text of the wording and add your own photos. So you don't have to worry about designing something yourself or paying someone to do it for you. This is just a little testimonial from one of my recent blog coaching clients. So I used to do blog coaching one-on-one sessions before I created this course, and I just basically created the course because I wanted to reach more people at one time rather than just working one-on-one. I want to help as many people as possible with growing their blog and their business. But Mary, she's a very awesome woman, she said, I hired Melissa as a blog coach and found her to be a joy to work with. Her communication style is very clear, and she's very knowledgeable about social media marketing and blogging. She had a source or suggestion for every question I had. In addition, I found her positive attitude to be inspirational, which is what you need when you're trying to launch a company or grow your blog. So this is just one little testimonial of a recent client. She's awesome to work with, and just wanted to share that so that you can get a little bit of like what it would be like to work with me in this course, because I will be teaching it. So other benefits of the program, again, you're going to learn how I pin 100 images per day in less than 45 minutes per week. So I probably spend less time on Pinterest than any other social media out there, but I get the most out of it in terms of people visiting my blog, purchasing my services, and basically just growing my website and also growing my Pinterest following. So again, I spend like 45 minutes a week on Pinterest, but last month my Pinterest grew, my Pinterest grew by 2,000 followers. This month I'm on par to grow it by 3,000. So as my Pinterest exponentially grows, so does my blog. And I want to point that out, that this course, again, is not necessarily about growing your Pinterest following. It's more like a side effect of doing all the things that you should be doing on Pinterest to grow your blog following. So as I grow my Pinterest following, so too does my blog grow, because it's getting my work out there to more and more people. So I'm going to teach you how to do this too. You're also going to learn how to use SEO on Pinterest so that the right people can find your work. And again, you're going to get the private Facebook group community and 2 live Q&A sessions. So my friends, bonus time, yo. So if you buy, you can look right below this video, if you buy Pinfinite Growth in the next 10 minutes, and I have it recorded, if you click through, you purchase it in the next 10 minutes, you're going to get a bonus video review of your blog and Pinterest. So I'm going to go through your blog and Pinterest and record myself reviewing it. So it's going to be particular advice that is just exactly straight for you and your blog, with strategic ways that you can up-level your Pinterest and your blog. So tips about how you can improve your graphics, your content, get it in front of more people, things that you are doing right, because I mean, it's nice to know what things you're doing right, and how you can improve. So if you purchase Pinfinite Growth, let's say by, it is 12:19 here Pacific time. So if you purchase it, let's say by 12:30, then you're going to get a bonus video review of your blog and Pinterest. So you have to just click through down below, and you're going to get that bonus video review. So 12:30, my friends. Yeah, so this is everything. Guys, we went through freaking 70 slides in about an hour, hour and 20 minutes. So I'm so, so glad that you stuck around and that you came here today. And I see there are a few questions about Pinfinite growth. So if you already bought the course, then just shoot me an email if you're here right now, and I will add that bonus video review to your course package. The course, I didn't mention this, but the course is $177. The price is going to go up next week. So this is actually early bird pricing, super, super valuable content. Just think about like what you could get out of $177 that is going to up-level your blog and your business. There's also a payment plan too. So if that feels like a big investment to you, then there is a payment plan that you can use. So I do have like everybody who purchased the course. So as soon as you purchase, then I have it written down. I'll make sure you get that bonus video review. So remember 12:30, I'm actually gonna turn this back around now so that we can do Q&A. So again, I haven't really been able to read the comments, but I'm gonna read the comments now so that we can do a Q&A together. Okay. I'm back. Hello, everybody. So if you have any questions, please share them in the comments below, and we'll stick around for a while and do a Q&A. 177 sounds like a steal. Thank you so much. Yay, incredible webinar. I'm so happy. Awesome. Thank you, Renata. Starting an online business in Brazil for entrepreneurs. Sort of. Ooh. Yeah, so starting an online business in Brazil for entrepreneurs, honestly, I would say that the strategy would be very similar to how you would do it here. SEO is going to be very important. Social media is going to be very important. So pretty much everything that you got out of this webinar, you can apply no matter where you live in the world. And I do have clients in other countries. I actually think I did work with somebody from Brazil once. So definitely, even if you live in Brazil, you can have clients in other countries, the US, anywhere, basically. So I wouldn't think of where you live as a way to hold you back or for things to change, because it's pretty similar across the board. So let's see, for Q&A, how do I link to my Gmail address on my blog post? Are you talking about how to create an HTML link? Let me know. I tried using the alt text on Blogger and it didn't work. Yeah, so Blogger, I'm not entirely sure. I just want to make sure I get all these questions. I'm not entirely sure about Blogger, but the trick when you do add the alt text is that you add it before you insert the image into your post. Has to be before. So if you already inserted the image, you need to go back, delete the image, reinsert it. So it's not going to work if you just go to an image and then you update the alt text. You have to add the alt text to the image and then put it into your post. That's the only way it's going to work. Okay. Let's see. So when will Pinfinite growth take place? Or is it something you can do whenever you have time? So Pinfinite growth, that's a great question. The course is going to be launching on August 24th. So it's almost finished, almost ready to launch, and you're going to be able to basically binge watch everything because I'm going to release everything at once. So all 8 modules, all of the worksheets, all of the PDF written tutorials and everything, you're going to get all of it on August 24th. So sign up now for the pre-sale pricing, $177, because next week the price is going to increase. So I want to make sure that you guys get it for the lowest price possible. But August 24th is your day. Talked about finding your focus earlier. What if you want to write about tons of different topics? I don't want to limit myself, then burn out later if you run out of ideas or motivation. Interested in so many things. Yeah, so I would honestly recommend starting by writing about a lot of different things to find what you're most passionate about. So I was the same way. I wrote about a lot of different things. I see someone else thinking as well. Where did you go through possible writing? Yeah, so somebody else basically asked a similar question and answer. So I would recommend I took honestly like 2 years to do this. I would highly recommend doing this much sooner, maybe like 6 months, writing about a lot of different things, and then just seeing what you're most passionate about, and then also what gets the most engagement from your readers. And don't think of it like once you stop writing about certain things that you can't write about them anymore. You can share them on your Instagram. So I share more personal stuff that I used to share on my blog. Now I share that on my Instagram in my captions. And just because you're not writing about it on your blog doesn't mean that it's no longer a hobby or a passion of yours. So you can still have this hobby or this passion, but just not necessarily write about it on your blog. Because again, you need to separate your blog from you, kinda. You kind of have to think of it as a brand. So you're building a brand. Yeah, you're welcome, Tens. So you're building a brand, you're not just building something for yourself. And that's just if you want to grow your audience. So not if you just want to blog about all the things for yourself, that's totally cool. But if you're trying to grow a brand, grow your following, then you're going to need to hone your focus. But you can blog about a lot of stuff at first before you do that. So I'm going to try to scroll up. I know I missed some questions. Let's see. It's hard to scroll on this thing. So many website tabs open, yay. I'm glad. There's still a lot of people here. It's still 111, that's so awesome. Okay, let's see. I don't know if you guys have tried to scroll on this, but it's hard. Okay, does the 100 daily pins in 45 minutes a week require additional software, or can this be done without it? So that's a great question. I think it would be very challenging to do it by yourself without additional software. You definitely can do it, it's just gonna take longer. So the program that I mentioned that you're gonna get for free in Pinfinite Growth is the program that I use to do that. So you can do it on your own, it's just gonna take longer. And to do that, if you do wanna do that on your own, then I would recommend going through your Pinterest feed and unfollowing anybody who doesn't pin things that are relevant to your ideal audience. So it'll make it way easier if you're only following people who pin content that's relevant to your audience, because you could just be like pin, 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 pin. You don't have to sift through a bunch of random stuff that's not pinnable. So again, you just want to pin stuff that is relevant to your audience. Okay, let's see. So how do you deliver your content upgrades? That's a good question. I now use Lead Pages, leadpages.net, I think it is, which is awesome. But before I used Lead Pages, I just created a library in my in a private page on my blog, where every time I had a content upgrade, I would just add it to the library. I still do that. And then anybody who subscribed got a link and password to the library, and then they could access all of the content upgrades. Yeah, so the form, somebody else asked, how do you make the form for content upgrades? You can do that by signing up for Lead Pages. I highly recommend Lead Pages. Or you could just create, like, you could hire a developer to create a form, like a little opt-in form on your blog. Or if you sign up for something like MailChimp, which is free for up to 2,000 subscribers, then you're going to get a link to an opt-in form. So you can just link it in your blog post, or create a graphic or something in your blog post that links to that subscription form. Okay, let's see what other questions. So many good questions, you guys. Thank you again for being here. I know this is Saturday. So awesome that there's so many people here. Okay, so great question, Angie. This is awesome, thank you. Have this one thing bothering me, since images are so important. Do you think it's possible to start well with your blogging if you don't have a high quality camera? I keep postponing my blog launch because I have a really bad camera, no design skills, and a really limited budget. So I totally feel you. I started in a very similar place with my blog. If any advice you get, if that advice is holding you back from launching your blog, then chuck it. The best thing that you can do is launch your blog first and foremost. So don't worry at first if you have crappy photos, if you have no design skills, and if you have a limited budget, because just starting your blog is going to change the game for you. So you need to just start your blog, get it out there, and then start saving your money so you can buy a better camera, so you can hire a designer, buy a template, whatever. But you really need to just launch your blog and get it out there. So don't worry about perfection. That's just going to hold you back. And I've seen people who take a year to launch their blog or their program because they're worried about perfection. But so it's just better to get it out there and then tweak it and revise it as you go. Yay! Oh, I'm so excited. You just purchased. Big investment for you, but you've been struggling with Pinterest for a while, so you're stoked. So awesome. It'll be worth the investment, I promise you. Oh, yeah, I just signed up for the Pinterest course. Yay, Kenneth! I'm so excited. Yes, Sam, there will be a replay. I will be sending that out later. So if you missed the beginning, there will be a replay in your email. Let's see. So I use, somebody asked what Pinterest scheduler you use. I use one, you mentioned it actually, called Board Booster. So only the people who register for the course are going to get the free membership to Board Booster. Board Booster, I tell you that I use Board Booster, but I want you to know it's a pretty complex program. So I do include tutorials. There's a whole module about how to use it and get the most out of it so that you can pin 100 things a day in like 45 minutes or less a week. How you can automate a lot of this stuff to grow your following. So it is a pretty complex program, and that's why I have a whole module about it. But yes, I do use Board Booster. Let's see, looking for the questions. If I say, what are you doing? Okay, so MBZ Interiors, if you want to link your Gmail address, let me show you this. I'm actually going to share my screen again. How to do this. This is actually like an HTML thing. Okay, so I'm going to create a new slide. So if you want to link an email address, this is how you do it. So this is your HTML link. So you can put this link into, like, this might not be relevant for a lot of people. I just wanted to answer it because I know somebody had this question a couple times. So this, like, if you're putting a link into WordPress, you want to do mail to, no spaces anywhere in this, and then the colon, quotations, and then your email address, and then quotations. So this is your link, how you would link a piece of text. And then if somebody clicked on this link for their piece of text in your WordPress blog or wherever, it's going to open up their email service like Gmail or something, and then create an email to this email address. So I hope that answers your question. Let me turn this back around. Let me know if that answers your question. Q&A, who is the direct person in your audience? Yes, thank you for reposting it. It's kind of hard for me to see all the questions. So who's the direct person in my audience? That's a great question. So I focus a lot on bloggers and online entrepreneurs. And the person, this might help you guys too, the person I think about in my audience is me 2 years ago. So whoever I was when I was starting my blog, about 5-6 months into my blog, is the person that I write for. So I think of the kind of questions that I had, and I listen to the kind of questions that people have now. So that is my direct person. And that might help you too to kind of like look back on who you were a year ago and think about who you were and how you can help that person. And then you said, do you think SEO is different when branding under our actual name, Melissa, versus the Nectar Collective? No, I don't think so, because you're still targeting certain keywords. So it's not necessarily associated with your name or your brand name. Your brand is going to pop up. If somebody searches like the Nectar Collective, then definitely my site will pop up before anything else. Then that's just kind of the way it works because I have the domain name and everything. But it doesn't really matter if you're using your actual name or a brand name in terms of SEO. It just matters about the keywords that you're focusing on. So the link would be without quotes. I'm not sure if you're talking about the Gmail link, but it would have quotes in it. So, yeah, so Sarah Joy asked, you mentioned that Pinterest had been lowering you in its rankings because you had a lot of pins with no repins. How should you fix that? Do you have to delete your old pins that have no repins? Yes, great question. And I do recommend doing that. So I know it kind of sounds crazy, like deleting your pins, but it's basically a way to trick Pinterest into thinking that you are a high quality pinner. So if you only have pins that have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 repins, nothing with 0 repins, then Pinterest is going to think like, oh, they must be a lot better than all these other people out there who have tons of pins with 0 repins. So yes, I actually did do that. I know other people who did that, went through and deleted all their pins with 0 repins, and it boosted their profile in like a week or so. All of a sudden, they're getting more followers, more repins. So it's basically a way to trick Pinterest. Yes. Yeah, so somebody said, I have a lifestyle blog. Voice crack in there. I just lost the question. But I think the question was about how you have a lifestyle blog and it's difficult to, let me see if I can scroll up. Difficult to figure out a focus. So yeah, I would recommend to honestly pick a focus rather than having a lifestyle blog. Just because and that's if you want to grow your following, grow your visitors, your business, because it's going to be a lot harder to grow your following and your blog if it's a lifestyle blog. But what you could do if you're very attached to this idea, just reading the question, very attached to this idea, you really want to have a lifestyle blog, then create an experience that goes with a lifestyle blog. So if you think about the really big lifestyle blogs out there, like Cupcakes and Cashmere or Sincerely Jules, they have this very like experience about their blog. It's not just like they'll post random things like, oh, I tried this recipe today, or oh, I went here today. It's like they are creating an experience where they only post really high quality stuff about what their audience or what their people are going to like. So if they post a travel post, it's not just like, here's a huge list of everything we did. It's like, here are some beautiful photos of my trip to wherever, and with some useful information that their audience might like. Or if it's a recipe, then it's geared towards their specific audience. So even if you have a lifestyle blog, you can still focus it on a certain type of person. So not just everyone for lifestyle, but certain types of people, and then really focusing your content on that person. So let's see, are you still growing in your focus? How do you know when you're ready to share your expertise in a subject you may still be growing in? I love that question, Jenny. So I would say that, yeah, I am still growing, and I think pretty much everyone is kind of like you as a person. We're always still growing, we're always still refining who we are and what we give to the world, no matter what age you are, how much experience you have. So yes, I'm definitely still growing in my focus. And how do you know when you're ready to share your expertise? I love that question, and I think that you're ready whenever you feel like you have something valuable to offer. So just think that even if you don't feel like an expert, you don't feel like you know everything about a certain topic, just think about how much more you know than the person you were 6 months ago or 1 month ago. So if you learned something awesome, then you can teach it to your audience, but just make sure that you're letting them know, like, hey, I'm still learning this too, but I learned this really neat thing and I want to share it with you. So it's totally okay to share things that you're not an expert in. I think that term gets thrown around a lot. You don't need to be an expert to share what you know. You just need to share what you know in an honest, transparent way. So you're not claiming to be an expert, but you're telling your audience like, hey, I'm still learning this too, but I wanted to share what I know. I like this question too, Sarah. Would photos with hand-lettered text still be a good way of making headers, or should it be done on the computer like I've seen most people do? I love the idea of doing hand-lettered text, just as long as you can read it. As long as it's legible, then I think that's a great idea. Because again, I don't want you to be afraid to do things that other people aren't doing. So yeah, I don't see a whole lot of Pinterest graphics or blog graphics where literally people are hand lettering the title that goes on top. But that's kind of an awesome thing, because then it means if you do it, you're going to stand out a whole lot more. So just make sure it's legible. Okay. Let's see. How can I make downloadables and screensavers for my blog readers? You can make those in any type of visual editing software. I create them in Photoshop, and then you just want to look up on Google the size that you need to create. So there's different sizes for like iPhone screensaver or like a desktop screensaver. So just look up the size, and then create a graphic in that size, and then you can just link to that graphic. So upload it to your blog and then link to it, say like download here, and then on that download link, it links to the large graphic. So that is a way, and then they can just right click and save it to their desktop. The longer I think about my focus, the more uncertain I become. So I would love to know why that is. So why is it harder to narrow your focus the more you think about it? And what are you feeling uncertain about? Okay, let's see. How do we get to be part of Pinfinite growth if we're unable to do the course now? So I do have, I'm not sure why you can't do it now, if it's because of the investment costs. There is a payment plan, so that might help. But if you really can't do it now, then I would just kind of like subscribe to my blog, because I will be launching it in the future, but probably not until next year. So if you can't do it now, then just hang around. You will get the chance again, just probably not until next year. Ooh, so many questions. I'm so sorry if I'm missing your question too. It's kind of like going fast when I'm talking, and it's hard for me to scroll up. But I want to make sure I get all of your questions. So if I do miss it and it's been a while, then just please re-ask it, and I'll do my very best to answer. If I don't feel like I'm adding value for my readers on my existing site and I'm ready to write new subject material, would it be a good idea to start fresh with a new site? If I create a new blog, is it okay to keep my old site online? So I kind of went through the same thing. I started as pretty much a lifestyle travel blog, and then I very much narrowed it to more like blogging and business advice. And I stayed on the same blog. What I just did actually like yesterday is I went through and I privatized. You can make your post private in WordPress. I privatized the posts that are totally irrelevant to my brand now. So like very lifestyle posts, like recipes, things like that, that are just not relevant to my current audience. I just went through and privatized them because I wanted to keep my audience around. I know a lot of them still liked the new content, so I didn't want to start a whole new blog. So it's kind of up to you. You can start a new, fresh site, or you can keep the old site if you already have a bit of an audience who might like your new stuff. And you could just hide the old stuff or just keep it there if you want, but it would probably be better to hide it. Okay, let's see. Oh, I like this question. I have a question. I've been blogging for about 3.5 years and my growth has plateaued. I have a full-time job and time is limited. What are one to do things you think I should focus most of my energy on? Honestly, I would say number one thing is focus it on Pinterest. So the more you grow your Pinterest following, like I said, it's kind of like exponential. The more you grow your Pinterest, the more you share consistently, share your stuff consistently, and you can, if you have a full-time job and time is limited, you can sign up for something like Board Booster, where you're able to share a lot of stuff without, it's pretty much automated, so you don't have to manually do it and spend that time. But that's going to grow your following a lot. Even if you feel like you have plateaued, it's going to grow your following more and more and more. So let's see, another thing that you can focus your energy on, I would honestly just focus, I don't know what kind of posts you write now, but I would focus on creating very high quality posts, and even just doing one a week. If you're really busy, you have a full-time job, just do one really high quality post one time a week, super, like you have a video, maybe screenshots, lengthy, complete guide, think about that again, share-worthy post, because that's gonna get more people coming to your blog if you have a post that is very share-worthy. And then especially if you pin it onto Pinterest, it's just gonna go crazy. Okay. Yay, thank you so much, Mandy. Okay, so working on automating your social media, Stephanie. Any recommendations with regards to Hootsuite versus Buffer versus CoSchedule? You come to the right place. I have used all three of those. I did not like CoSchedule. It was not for me. I just didn't like the interface of it. I really like to share other people's work more or just as much as my own on social media. So it was hard for me to share other people's work on CoSchedule. But I know a ton of people love it. So you might want to check it out. I think all three of the ones you suggested, Hootsuite, Buffer, CoSchedule, social media schedulers, they do, I'm pretty sure, all have free trials. So I would recommend checking out their free trials to see which one is best for you. And yeah, seeing which one you like the most. Hootsuite and Buffer are very similar. I prefer Buffer out of all three of those. Okay, let's see. Can you talk more about Pinterest group boards? How would you find them? So good question. There is a website called pingroupie.com, pingroupie, IE at the end.com. It's a great place. It has a listing of pretty much every kind of Pinterest group board, and you can narrow it by topics. You can search by certain topics. So if you're like a fashion blogger, you can search by fashion or style, anything related to what you post, and find Pinterest group boards that are relevant to your blog, what you're trying to share. And let's see. Yes, and then also looking for boards that are active. So not boards that the last time somebody posted was a week ago, or they only get one repin on average. You want boards that are constantly being pinned to and that have at least 3 to 5 repins on average. Let's see. Somebody asked, currently use Blogger. Should I switch platform or stay when you're starting a new blog? I honestly think that you should switch to WordPress at the very least, or not at the very least, definitely you should switch to WordPress. I would say Squarespace at the very least, but you want to switch to a platform where you own the content and where you have full control over the design and the copyright to the content. So if you're on Blogger, you don't own your content. Blogger could just shut down your site whenever they want. So if you're on WordPress, if you switch to WordPress, then you own every single thing that you put on there. So I would definitely recommend switching to WordPress. Still 64 people in here, you guys. So amazing. So already a bunch of people. Oh my goodness. Well, let's see. There's like at least 10 people who have purchased Pinfinite Growth since we started. I just want to throw it out there again. If you click the link below to Pinfinite Growth, then you're going to get the e-course where you can learn basically all of these things that we went over today in this webinar, but more in depth and more catered to you and how we can grow your blog and your business. So again, Pinterest is like the best marketing tool out there. It's something that has grown my blog by 50, 100%, trying to think of the math in my head, in like 3 months. So it's really grown my blog a lot, and it's bringing the right visitors to my site. So people who hire me, buy my courses, and sign up for my newsletter, my email list, follow me on social media. So not just random people, but in the course you're going to learn how to bring the right people to your site. Cheeky question, but can we see Monja? Let's see. Okay, I don't see him. I'm going to make a note. I'm going to find Monja before I log off, before we end. I'm going to try to find him, and I'm going to bring him so you can see him. Monja is my dog. I have a corgi that a lot of people really love. I don't even know how people know that I have him because I don't post that many pictures of him, I don't think, but apparently I do because a lot of people seem to know about him. He's awesome. So I'll try to find him later before we leave. On Pinterest, if you're using affiliate links, should your pins link to the blog or should you use the affiliate links? Just curious what makes the most sense to drive traffic. Pinterest actually has a rule where you can't use affiliate links in your pins. I think the only, I could be wrong, but I think the only network they allow to use affiliate links is Reward Style, which is like a fashion network for affiliate links, I think. Don't quote me on that. I don't really use affiliate links on Pinterest, but I do know that it's not allowed. So you want to link to your blog post where you have affiliate links in your blog post. That's totally okay. I really appreciate everything you shared with us. What would be the best way to stay in contact with you? First of all, thank you. That's really kind of you to say. The best way to stay in contact, I would recommend going to my website, thenectarcollective.com, and signing up for my email list because I send a weekly email newsletter to my email list where you get blogging, business tips. I often send out things like free worksheets or free ebooks. Try to make it super not spammy, super valuable for my subscribers. So that's a great way to stay in touch with me. You always have my email address, and you'll always get the best of what I send to my subscribers. Would you recommend starting a whole new account or turning my casual pin account into my blog account? That is kind of up to you. I honestly just did for everything, I just turned everything into my blog account, like my Instagram, my Pinterest, my Twitter. I just turned those into my blog account, just changed the screen name. But if you do keep your casual pin account, you're just gonna wanna go back through and check your pins to make sure that they are on brand, so they're relevant to your audience, and that you don't have a bunch of pins with 0 repins. So in that case, if you do have a lot of those things, it might be better to just start from scratch, unless you have like a big following on your current account. Let's see. Would it be a good idea to designate one day a week on niche lifestyle posts, then another day strictly for blogging strategies and tips so different readers know what to expect on what days? I think that's a good strategy if you are married to the idea of having all the things kind of blog, where you're blogging about a lot of different things, or a lifestyle blog. Definitely that would help, because then your readers have consistency where they know what to expect. Like if they only want your recipes, then they know to only come on Tuesday, which is recipe day. So that could definitely help. But again, I do recommend just picking a focus so that any day they come, so they don't have to like put you in their planner. They know any day they come, they're going to get something valuable for them and relevant to them. Let's see. Scroll up a little bit. Oh, thank you so much, Jessica. Appreciate that. Do you think Pinterest is the right platform for people with more lifestyle-esque blogs? I've focused my posts a lot, so it's not here's my life posts anymore, but I also don't post recipes or how-tos. So I'm just curious, Brittany, what kind of lifestyle posts do you share? Is it more just like what you've been up to, like the things that you do and then you share about them, like places you go, things you do? Or is it like about your life, like personal stuff? But I do think that if you have a lifestyle blog, you want to keep it lifestyle, then definitely Pinterest could be useful. You just need to have really high quality graphics. So your photography needs to be on point if you want to stand out. So you don't want to use stock photos, because your photography is how you're going to tell your story in addition to your words. So that's kind of like one of the big valuable things that they're going to get out of your site. If you have a lifestyle site, you want to keep it that way. And then you can pin those images onto Pinterest. If they're really high quality, people are going to click over and want to know who you are, what your story is. So yes, you could use Pinterest in that way. It's just really important to have those high quality graphics. Aw, that's really sweet. So I don't know your name, it's an anonymous 3890, but I really appreciate your comment. She said, she or he, I'm not sure. I want to thank you so much. You're sharing so much helpful content, and I can feel your heart in it. That means a lot to me. I can't get your course right now, but you blessed me so much. Much love to you. Thank you so much. That's really sweet. Really appreciate that comment. Let's see, I want to scroll up, see if I'm missing any of your questions. Any tips on how to stand out as a healthy food blogger amongst many healthy food blogs out there? Number one, your photography, again, is going to be very important. For a food blog, photography is like very important. So your photography is important. And then I also would recommend putting words on some of your graphics too. So if you're focusing on healthy food in particular, someone might not necessarily know that based on like a photograph of a recipe. So you want to put in your text on the photo, at least on one photo in your post. You can have other photos with no text, but at least on one photo where you have like healthy dinner recipes or recipe for people who want something healthy. I'm not sure, whatever your post titles are. And yeah, your post titles too are going to be important. You really want to think of mouth-watering post titles that are going to attract your audience, the relevant audience. So healthy food, people who are interested in healthy food. So your post titles, you want them to entice people into clicking and really feel like it's relevant to them. So if they're interested in healthy food, then making sure to mention something about that or using keywords that are relevant to people who are interested in healthy food in your title, so that when they're searching on Pinterest or Google or whatever, your post is popping up. So yes, so graphics are really important, your titles are really important, and SEO is really important. So putting those keywords into your posts. And then just kind of one more tip that could go for you, the person who asked about wanting to stand out as a healthy food blogger, or for anybody, is to try to do things that other people aren't doing. So you could record a video of yourself creating the recipe and then put it in the post with the actual recipe printable or whatever it is. So you can stand out and set yourself apart by doing things that other people aren't. So not many food bloggers out there are sharing a video of them creating the recipe. If you do, you're gonna stand out and people are gonna be like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, I've never seen this before. Or they're gonna feel really connected to you because you shared a video of yourself making the recipe. So just thinking of ways to do things that other people are not. Somebody asked, so WordPress or Squarespace is best? I have not used Squarespace, so I don't want to necessarily say which one is better. I do think WordPress is more customizable. I use WordPress and I love WordPress. There's so much that you can do with it. I do think also in the aesthetic sense, WordPress is easier to make it look more unique. So a lot of Squarespace sites, they're very clean, they're very beautiful, but unless you really go in and change the coding or you change the template, they kind of look similar. So I would recommend WordPress, but I also think Squarespace is awesome if you're not like interested in tech stuff or you want something really easy to use that's gonna look beautiful right out of the box. Okay, so I'm so sorry, it sounds like you asked this question twice. I must have missed it. So 5 people repinned something from me a month ago and I deleted it because it didn't get many repins overall. It's gone from their board, right? That seems so unfortunate for the 5 people. Do you have a tip for that? I don't think it's gone from their board. I'm almost positive it stays on their board. So if they pin it to their board, it stays on their board, but it's going to be deleted from your board. So just because you're the source of the pin doesn't mean that it's going to be deleted from their board. Even if you delete that picture on your blog post, it's still going to be on their Pinterest board. So I'm not 100% sure, but I'm almost positive if you delete something from your Pinterest board, it doesn't get deleted from other people's boards. So don't worry about that. Okay. What's the best way to see the amount of views for each individual post? Google Analytics, Bitly, something else. I would definitely recommend Google Analytics. There's ways that you can just pretty easily I would recommend just looking through Google Analytics. You can find all of the different features it has, but there are sections where you can literally see how many views, how many page views, and how many visitors each post received. So that's the best way I would say. Aw. Clicked out of the chat window for a second, sorry. Thank you, Jamie. What a sweet comment. She said, thank you so much for the helpful content. Your blog is one of the ones that I fall into for hours at a time, clicking around from post to post. I love all of your content and what you're doing. This webinar was the bomb as well. Seriously, you rock. Jamie, you rock. Thank you. That makes my day. Really, really appreciate that. Let's see. Recommend inspiring books. Ooh, I love books. I'm always trying to read like a self-development book. If you are a blogger, I would recommend going to thenectarcollective.com and just searching books. I have a post with like 10 or 15 different book recommendations for aspiring bloggers. I would also recommend, I recently read a book called The Power of Habit, which was awesome, really easy to read too. And I'm currently reading a book called The Miracle Morning, which is about basically how to set up the first hour of your day to help you accomplish your dreams and really center your mind and your focus, which I'm really digging that as well. Yeah, so I love books. But yeah, go to thenectarcollective.com, search for books in the little search area, and you'll find a post with like 10 or 15 book suggestions for bloggers. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. You're so welcome, Wendy. Yay, I'm glad you had some ahas. That's awesome. Let's see. So I am not a blogger, but I have an online Etsy shop selling hand wovens. Do you think I need a blog, or can I use these strategies for my social media content? Yeah, that's a good question. So normally I would suggest that you definitely have a blog, and that is because of SEO. But if you have an Etsy shop, which is on a site that you don't own, so you don't have SEO necessarily for that site, then it wouldn't matter as much. Let's say you have a shop on a website that you own. I would definitely recommend having a blog, because that's going to boost your website and your store in Google search rankings. And it's just going to be a really nice way to connect with your audience. If you have an Etsy store and you have a powerful, consistent social media following, I think you can still get a lot out of social media without having a blog. So you don't necessarily need to have everything out there. Normally I would, again, recommend having a blog if it's on a site, if your store is on a site that you own rather than Etsy. But if you have an Etsy shop and you have a strong, consistent following on social media, so again, you're sharing like behind the scenes, you're sharing images that are really high quality, and you're sharing things that are relevant to your potential buyers and clients, then you can really leverage social media in a powerful way, even if you don't have a blog. And yes, definitely use these tips on social media too. Let's see. Scrolling up. Oh, thank you to the person anonymous. I wish I knew all your guys' names, but they said thank you so much for this webinar. It was very helpful. I'm really happy to hear that. Okay. Jenny asked, how did you come to use the name The Nectar Collective for your blog? That's a good question. So I think names are very meaningful, but I was spending forever trying to think of a name that I loved. So it was really holding me back in terms of wanting to get my blog out there and published. So I just thought of The Nectar Collective, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. But I kind of did think of it, it does have a meaning, even though it was very spur of the moment. The meaning is kind of twofold. Number one is that I really wanted it to be a place, like a collection and community for people who wanted to find their nectar in life. There's something, that thing that really gives them passion, that makes them want to change the world. So I wanted it to be a collective for people who wanted to find their nectar. And I think the reason that, number two, why the word nectar came to me is because my name, Melissa, means bumblebee. So I was thinking like, oh, bumblebee and nectar kind of go hand in hand. So there's that little connection between me and the name of the blog too. But really it's focused on helping people find their nectar, as cheesy as that sounds to say now, their nectar in life and how to cultivate it. Let's see. Looking through the questions. Thank you guys. There's still 50 people here. You're amazing. 2 hours later, you're blowing my mind right now on a Saturday afternoon. Scrolling up, I think I answered all of these. I'm sure I missed some though. I'm just going to scroll up a little bit more. I'm so happy I answered so many of these. Okay, looks like, oh yeah, I have to show you Monji too. Somebody asked, how can I better use my Google Analytics to understand where my readers are coming from and capitalize on that platform? Any tips for better utilizing Google Analytics? I don't know if I can show you right now. Wonder if I can. Thinking if I can show you Google Analytics. But I would just recommend, so Google Analytics can tell you where your readers are coming from. You can check your referral traffic to see exactly what sites are linking to you. So it could be blogs, it could be Pinterest, any sites that are linking to you. You can check that on Google Analytics. You can also see like which posts are getting linked to the most. So there's ways to look through Google Analytics and find like which pins are bringing you the most traffic. And then once you see what is getting the most traffic, the most engagement, the most traction, then you can, one, update those posts so that they're even more awesome, more on brand, and two, you can create more content like that. So Google Analytics is a beast. It has, if you've ever been on it, it has a lot of different options. So my best suggestion is to just go through all of the different options that it has and explore and see where your audience is coming from and how, if there are any trends or patterns, like they're coming to this particular pin a lot, or these types of posts are getting the most feedback. So thinking about those things in mind too. Okay. All right, I think I answered a lot of the questions. I don't see any new ones when I scrolled up. I'm going to scroll back down, see if there are any new questions here. Thank you. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. She says, Miracle Morning has changed everything for me. Couldn't recommend it enough. Ooh, that's really encouraging. I'm actually reading it right now, so I'm excited. Oh, and Brittany has read them both, Power of Habit and Miracle Morning. That's so awesome. It's how she got back on track blogging consistently. So yeah, Miracle Morning is not, it's a book. You can go to Amazon, The Miracle Morning. It's not about blogging. It's just about how to use your morning, the first hour or so of your morning every day, to create the best foundation in your life to accomplish your goals and to feel happy and successful. So yeah, it could definitely work for blogging or your business. I'm actually not finished with it yet. I'm like almost finished. I need to get that done so I can implement my Miracle Morning every day. I'm really excited. Yay, Wendy, I'm so glad you like this. Okay. Oh, good. Such a valuable way to spend your Saturday night. You're so welcome. You signed up for the course. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Quick question about keywords. Would you recommend using one keyword or phrase throughout your site, every post or photo, or would you recommend having a selection of focused phrases or blog post specific keywords and alternating between them? Yes, I would go with the second option. So you don't just want to use one keyword, because then you're putting all of your tomatoes in one basket. So you want to have different keywords that are focused on the same audience. So you could have, like, maybe you have a fashion blog, and one of your keywords could be like fashion for petite women, if you are petite, fashion for petite women. Or you could have another keyword could be like inexpensive fashion retailers or something like that. You might want to do some research. I'm not a fashion blogger, so I don't really know the best keywords. But I would recommend having a variety of keywords, but still focused on the same audience. So you're still appealing to the same person, but you have a lot of different ways for them to find you. And then again, that's going to create more variety in your posts too. So you don't just want to blog about literally the same thing every day. You don't just want to blog about here's a sweet potato recipe every single day. That's a little bit maybe too niche, too focused. But if you have a healthy food blog and you like to post a lot of sweet potato recipes, then that could be one of your keywords. So maybe every week or every 2 weeks you have a post where you include sweet potatoes in your recipe. So that's kind of a keyword or phrase that you could use. So yeah, basically just using different keywords but focus on the same audience. Oh, petite fashion, petite modern blog. So awesome. Yay, participating in this has given me even more motivation to keep going and growing my blog. I just started in June and I just went for it. I'm learning along the way and can't thank you enough for your time. Fist bump. Thank you. I'm glad. How do you utilize keywords without keyword stuffing? Yeah, so you don't want, keyword stuffing is basically what people used to do several years ago, and it worked back in the day. Now Google thinks you're a spammer if you keyword stuff. What it is basically just putting a bunch of keywords into your posts that don't necessarily organically fit into your post. So you're just putting keywords in your post, trying to fit it in, so one sentence might have your keyword 3 times. So you don't want to do that, because that's going to be obvious to Google that you're just trying to stuff a bunch of keywords into your posts, and it doesn't feel natural. But instead, that's why it's important to create a focus for your blog because then you'll naturally just be inserting your keywords into your post. So I read somewhere that it's important to put your keyword into your post for 1% of how many words are in your post. So for example, if you're writing a 500-word post, then you want to use your keyword in your post content 5 times. So that would be 1% of the number of words in your blog post. So you don't want to keyword stuff. That's not going to help you, putting like tons of keywords if it feels really unnatural. Just write your post naturally and include your keywords where you can. And you don't need to include the same exact keyword phrase for like everything that you do. You can create like different variations of your keyword. So if you have, again, like petite fashion style or something, petite fashion, then it doesn't always have to be petite fashion. It could be like petite style or style for petite women. So you can kind of like change your keywords a little bit, but still has similar wording. You're so welcome, Brittany. Yay, I'm so glad this is a good help for you. Okay. Okay, so Carmen asked, what I would like to know is how to grow your audience on Facebook. So first I would ask why you want to grow your audience on Facebook. Is it because your audience hangs out on Facebook a lot? Or is it because you just want to grow your audience there because you feel like you should? If it's the latter, if it's where you feel like you just need to grow your audience there because it's small and struggling and you just feel like you need to be well-rounded and you need to grow your Facebook audience, then my answer is don't worry about it. You really don't need to worry about growing a large audience on your Facebook page because Facebook has set up algorithms where even if you have a large amount of followers on your Facebook page, most of them are not seeing your content. I think it's like 2% of people who follow your page are seeing the content that you post. So instead, we talked about this a little bit earlier in the presentation, focus on Facebook groups. So I would look for groups in your niche, find groups where your audience is hanging out, and focus on being really helpful and like talkative in those groups so you can make connections there. So don't worry about your page so much as worrying about groups. And actually, if you do sign up for Pinfinite Growth, there is an exclusive Facebook group that is part of the course, so you get to kind of interact with all the different course members, which is really fun. We do all like kinds of blog and business advice, and it's just kind of a great, smaller mastermind group. Okay. Is there an app for counting your words in a post, or that you could put in keywords and tell you if you have stuffed? I wouldn't worry about if you're stuffing keywords. I would just like focus on creating posts that are very natural and organically worded. So just think about how you would talk in real life, and just because you're naturally going to use your keywords in your speech, and that's pretty much what Google wants. They just want you to be natural in what you're saying, and not just try to like throw in your keywords and unnaturally. So don't worry about keyword stuffing. Just worry about creating quality content on a specific topic, and you're naturally going to insert your keyword. As for your word count, I know if you're on WordPress, it does tell you at the bottom how many words you have. I'm not sure about other ones, but if you're on one, like I'm not sure if Blogger does, if they don't show you the word count, you can copy and paste it into Google, or not Google, into Microsoft Word. Maybe Google Documents does too. And there's like a little section on the top. If you click, you can find the word count. Yeah, kind of copy of Facebook. They want you to basically pay for people to see your posts now. But yes, Facebook groups are amazing. So I'm going to actually have to go to a birthday party. I'm excited for my boyfriend's nephews, I think it is. No, not even nephews. I don't know how they're related, but boyfriend's family, he's turning, I think, 4 or 5 today. So, and there's another one turning 1. So we're going to go to his birthday party. So I'm going to take 3 more questions, and then I'll show you Monjet, and then I've got to go to that party. But again, thank you guys so much for being here. I know I'm taking up so much of your time. There's still 40 people here, blowing my mind. All right, so 3 more questions. This is a quick one. Are you planning any more webinars? Yes. So I actually have one I'm working on, hopefully for next week, which is going to be a joint webinar with another awesome woman, girl, you might know her. So if you're on my newsletter list, you will get an email about that, which hopefully will happen next week. Let's see. Yeah, is there any way that I can watch this presentation over again? You missed the beginning? Yes. Later today, after I get back from my birthday party, I will be sharing the replay so that and I'll email it to you all so that you can rewatch this and get all the awesome details again. Let's see. Ooh, all right, last question, my friends. This is a good one to end on. I think it's going to take some brain power from me. So one more cheeky question, they say. If you could tell us all to take just 3 actions tomorrow to start moving towards growing our blog and implementing all of your amazing tips, what would those 3 things be? Thank you to the person who said have fun. So what would those 3 tips be to take 3 actions tomorrow or today? If you're in Pacific time, it's only 1 o'clock, so today maybe, to start moving towards and growing your blog and implementing all of these tips. So I would start at the beginning of the presentation. So narrow your focus, really, really, really think about who your audience is, who you're helping, and answering the question of what do you want to be the go-to hub for? So why do people come to you? Why do they go to your site? What do you want them to get out of it? So really, really, really answering for yourself. What's your focus? How are you helping people? What's the takeaway from your site? 2 is really clarifying your branding. So again, these are all tips that are going to help you stand out online. So clarifying your branding and creating a solid brand. So if you go to thenectarcollective.com and you search style guide, I have some worksheets you can download to help to clarify your brand, which is going to help you think of the fonts, the colors, your brand's voice and vibe, and then going through everything that you've created on like social media, on your blog, and looking at how you can revise it so that it better meets your brand image, aesthetic, and vibe. So basically spending some time thinking about how your brand can become more consistent and more catered again to that audience member. And last tip, so she asked 3 actions that you could take to start moving towards growing our blog and implementing all of these tips. So one more tip would be to connect with other people in your niche. So I took a lot of time I didn't do this for a long time. I blogged by myself. I let people come to me if they wanted to comment on my blog or my social media, but I never went out of my way to reach out to people. Now I reach out to people, I Skype with them, I ask if they want to Skype. I'll tweet people on Twitter just to see, like, to build a friendship with them, or I'll leave a comment on like Instagram or something. So I'm really trying harder to build connections with people. And I just say connections, not networking, because I don't want you to go into this thinking like you need to build these connections so that you get something out of it business-wise. Honestly, you just go into your relationships and your connections with other people in your niche, you're gonna get that anyways. But the point I want to make is to really build friendships with other people in your niche. So find people, it might be people in this chat right now, who are in your niche and that you can connect with and grow with and maybe Skype with every week, because it's so much easier to grow your following, to grow your business or blog, to have more fun doing it if you have other people to do it with. So yes, I would find other people to connect with. Yay, you're welcome, Hannah. You're so welcome. So I'm about to go, but I'm gonna go find my dog because I know somebody asked to see him, so I'll be right back. Hang on 1 second if you want to meet Monja. I'm gonna go get him, and then I'm gonna peace out. So 1 moment. Let's see. Oh my gosh, have I never seen this on a webinar before? So this is Monja. Come here. Ugh. Hi. I love him so much. He's the best. Oh. Hi guys. So his name is Monja. He's like my little sidekick. So thank you guys so much for coming again. You can check out Pinfinite Growth so that we can work together more. You're going to get the e-course, which launches on August 24th. But again, the price goes up next week. So right now it's being offered for $177. Next week it's going to be offered for more than $200. So make sure you get it now before pricing goes up. There's already like 50 people who have signed up for it, so it's so exciting. We have an awesome community for Pinfinite Growth, and it's a great e-course for bloggers or business owners who does not like being on the app right now, who want to up-level their blogger business, grow it, reach more of the right people, narrow their focus, narrow their brand message, and just create this solid, growing blogger business. So very excited about it. You can click the link down below. And thank you so much. so much. I can't thank you enough. This is my first webinar. I was like a little bit nervous to do this, but thank you so much for being here. It's been so fun. I can't believe how many people actually came and how there's still 40 people here. Like, you guys are amazing. It's been almost 2.5 hours. So amazing. And thank you to the people who said that they liked the webinar. I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so glad that you guys liked it. All right, so I hope to do many more of these. I do have one in the works, another webinar for next week. So definitely I will hopefully see you there. And hopefully I'll see you in Pinfinite Growth too. So thank you so much, all of you, for being here. I hope you have an incredible Saturday. And I hope these tips helped you in growing your blog or business in the right way. All right, I'm gonna go to the party for my boyfriend's nephew or some sort of relative. All right, talk to you guys later. Wanta says bye too. Bye. Bye, everybody.